Ever since my interview with CNA where I shared about my experience with Counterfeit Skincare, a lot of you guys have been messaging me and asking me to help authenticate your products. Unfortunately, that is not something that I can realistically do because there's just too many to go around. So what I'm going to be doing is that I will be expanding on my 4 tips to help you guys differentiate between the real and fake skincare items. So the very first tip I would share would be texture. Not only the texture of the product itself, but actually the texture of the packaging and the boxes that it comes in. I know you guys cannot feel it over the screen, but the texture of the boxes actually feel different between the real and fake items. I have experienced this across multiple different brands, even for Western brands. So if you do have the real item beside you, try feeling the box. Oftentimes, the texture of the box feels different. So the next thing would be color. And if you notice, I'm going to be talking about the packaging once again because very often when you receive a product and not open it up to test, otherwise you might not be able to return it. So I focus a lot on the packaging that it comes in. If you notice, the color of the Torridon box over here is actually different, okay? It's more blue, like a deep cool blue. This it's slightly less saturated and a little bit more warm. And if you actually look at the boxes side by side, this box is slightly more yellowy compared to this one over here. This sort of like slight variation in color, and I think this is one of the best telltale signs to differentiate between the real and fake items. The third telltale sign would be the text on the packaging or on the product itself. Often on the fake products itself, the punctuation is a little bit off. It's like either misaligned, it's missing like a comma, or like there's an extra space bar, which I will insert in the photos over here. And these are very minor details that you probably will not pick up on unless you are like really observing it very carefully. So for the authentic brand owners, right, they will have like a certain quality to upkeep. So even things on the packaging, if there's any mistakes, they will need to reprint the whole thing. And then the fourth tip would be the font. While the font does look pretty similar, you can tell that the fonts are different if you put them side by side, okay? Even the fonts over here, they look slightly different as well. Very often the dupes, right, are not able to replicate the font of every single thing on the packaging because they do not have access to that information. So you will notice that maybe some parts, right, the font will look different from the original. Another tip I can share with you that I didn't share in my interview is actually the sticker labels on the packaging. For brands with sticker labels, they will try their best to stick it as straight as possible, as centralized as possible, but usually for the fake ones, they will just like stick it haphazardly. Sometimes it's like very off center, sometimes it's like the words are like opposite. I feel something that has become very obvious in my eyes as a way to differentiate between the real and fake. Of course, it's not foolproof, but this is probably the best detective work you can do by yourself at home. If you guys have any more questions, do leave it down below. Also, I know a lot of you guys have been asking me like, how do I differentiate whether the seller is real or fake on the different platforms? Okay, I actually did a video on that previously, which I will try to link it down below. But if you like an updated video on it and you want it to be platform specific, then comment the platform you want down below.